Hello folks, this is Steve A. Before you. Well, I've had an adventurous day. Somewhere I'm in my engine compartment, I've got a coolant leak. My resident mechanic, Scott, of Scott's Garage, and I couldn't see where it was coming from. But I'm taking the car back in on Monday. It's Saturday night. So in the meantime, I'm grounded. That means I have to stay at home. So nothing in this episode's a promotion, nor is it a recommendation. One of the places I'm interested in is Israel, current events, and, well, I was looking at the latest articles, and as I scroll down, this one caught my eye. Now, what I'm about to say will seem far-fetched, but the book name is Jewish Algeria. Jewish Algeria book reading canceled amid criticism over Zionist links. Now, when I got home from shopping and talking to Scott about my engine compartment, the first thing I read online when I logged into my Steve A. Before You YouTube account was that I got a comment on a video from a few days back. And the commenter's in Egypt. And I thanked him for the comment, and I told him that I have been to Egypt in 1966. Now, Egypt is in eastern North Africa. So as I'm scrolling down now, reading articles in the Times of Israel, oh, I might be interested in this article. While I was in North Africa in 1966, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, how did I get two things of interest within an hour from North Africa? Algiers Bookshop. Algiers is the main city of Algeria. Have I ever been there? Yes. Algiers Bookshop calls off event without explanation after Islamist lawmaker decries cultural normalization with the Zionists. Author says books about history, it's not about politics. Now, why would this be of any interest to me? 50 years ago, when I was in Israel and when I was in Western Galilee, northern Western Galilee, right up against the Israel-Lebanon border, I was on a kibbutz and we had a citrus orchard that was actually owned by the Jewish National Fund. And there were 3 non-kibbutz workers there, 2 ladies who had immigrated from Algeria. So have I ever known a Jew who was born and raised in Algeria? The answer is yes, because this is, the title of the book is Jewish Algeria. They were very nice. Every now and then, I think they lived in a village further east called Yara. Why would I say Yara? because Yara is a mixed village of North African Jewish immigrants and Bedouin Arabs. Why would they mix those two together? Oh, they speak the same language. Arabic. Actually, now see, my mind keeps straying. Now here's what I know. At first, I'm almost certain when those two ladies, now they were 19, it was 19, now the time I'm talking about is 1973. And I would say they were in their 50s. And they probably came from Algeria about 20 years earlier than that. So they were adults. And I'll bet you, and they moved into a village that also had Bedouin Arabs, Israeli Bedouin Arabs. Now, I said they spoke the same language, which is why they would put them together in the same village. But I'll bet you it was a couple of years before they fully understood each other. Ask an Arabic-speaking person for how many words there are for the word tea, the drink. In other words, when I was in Algeria, see, I'm off on the loop. When I was in Algeria, in Algiers, I was there for like 2 days, and I went to a movie. I went to a movie theater. And I can remember the thing I remember was how it was made by somebody in an Arabic country, and it was, I don't know, about some kind of war of conquest from North Africa from like 1,000 years earlier, and how they were shooting and arrows were going through people's heads. But what I learned in my travels across North Africa is that as many dialects of Arabic as there are across North Africa. I'm just talking about North Africa. Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt. All of the news broadcasts and all of the movies are made in what's known as classical Arabic, the same as, at that time, spoken on Radio Cairo. See how it fits into the fact that I got a comment from a guy in Egypt? Now, if you think that there's anything unusual about that, let me just see. I'm just wondering, but this is all the stuff that's in here. At least when I was a youngster and you had your first movie news, you go to the movie theater and there was the newsreels, listening on the radio, and the first television news programs, they all were in standard New York, Washington, D.C. dialect and accent of American English, which everybody, even in Texas, would at least understand because that's the voice in which they heard the news broadcasts all of their life. See how that's the same as what I said about all the news broadcasting in North Africa was in classic Arabic, not the local dialects. And I don't know how it is in Israel now, but when I was there 50 years ago, when you'd listen to Kol Yisrael news, it was in classical Hebrew, not street Hebrew. So that everybody had to understand that, even if they never spoke it that way. Got it? I'm teaching you about something. Now, hang on. So, there's a picture here. Here's the Star of David, the former RABB synagogue in Algeria, May 25th, 2005. Let's see if Wikipedia knows where that is. I'm assuming it's in Algeria. So when all the Jews got out of Algeria after 1948, who knows how many Jews were left in Algeria. I had a roommate for a while as a volunteer in Israel. His father had been an English soldier stationed in Morocco, and he married a local Jewish girl, so my roommate was English and Moroccan Jewish. See, there's all kinds of connections. Synagogue Durab. I've been to Tlemcen. Tlemcen is the first city that I went to in Western Algeria. The Synagogue Durab you notice that I know how to pronounce it. Tlemcen. I didn't have to look twice. I've been to Tlemcen. It's a synagogue that was built there by a certain rabbi in 1398 of the Christian era. Now watch. I can prove to you I know exactly where Tlemcen is, and I'll tell you something about it. We'll say Algeria, map. Of all the countries I've traveled through, the northern tier of Algeria, from west to east, hitchhiking, is the most beautiful country I've ever been in. There's another connection. I was commenting to somebody today about how beautiful all of North Carolina is. But if you were to ask me the most beautiful place I've ever been, it's the northern tier here, not down here. See, Algeria is a big country. So here we go. We kill that. If I'd like to get rid of that crap, if I hit the X, get rid of it. We're not interested in the desert. Okay, we got to get up to the Mediterranean coast. Okay? I've been to Oran. Now, why don't they show the borders? Now, the way I actually spotted, the first place I spotted is Oujda. But that's the border town city in eastern Morocco, where I got my visa at the Algerian consulate. And the first city I got to in Algeria once I crossed was in Tlemcen. There's Oujda in Morocco, and there's Tlemcen in western Algeria. Did I stay in Tlemcen? No. I got a bus ticket to Oran up here. And what I remember about that is the following. Can you tell by the topography that it's mountainous? Let's see what the road's like. Okay. So here's Tlemcen, and we wanted to get to Oran. And the green is plateaus, and this is mountain area. So the road goes through the mountains, like Switzerland. Think of it like that. The bus driver had to get in, and then he put his foot in the gas pedal. Pardon me. There was a strap. It was like putting his foot into a sandal. There was a strap over his foot because for whatever reason, the gas pedal in that bus was flat against the floor, and if you left it in that position, the engine would draw. So to drive the bus, he had to pull up on the gas pedal. No, I'm not making that up. No, they didn't make the bus in Algeria. It was made in Germany. See how my mind strays? So Algeria is a fairly wide country. It's like going from Washington, D.C. to St. Louis, or New York to St. Louis. And over on there's Algiers. And this city had a different name then. I think it was called Bougie. And then I also stayed in Annaba. And then, before that it was Constantine. Here we go, Constantine. Ancient Roman city, Constantine, named for Roman Emperor Constantine. And then on to Annaba, and then finally to the border with, and that's where I exited. If you were to go to my Good Twins Uncle Steve Fishing playlist and you would look for the one playlist called North Africa, you would find a video called Trouble at the Border for something that happened right there with a French citizen couple born in Algeria. Those were called Pied Noir. Piednoir. Pied Noir, definition, term commonly became common shortly before Algeria gained its independence in 1962. I was in Algeria in 1966. Many Pied Noirs left for France during and after the war. What does it mean? Pied Noirs are French citizens born to French citizen parents, but the parents were born in France. Okay? The French government was surprised by the large number of people who left Algeria. Why would they want to leave such a beautiful place? And expected many to return once the conflict was over after the vote. The vote that de Gaulle gave them was, the choices were continue as a colonial possession, become a part of metropolitan France, which means that France would also now include all of Algeria, or become independent, which it chose to become an independent country. And expected many to return once the conflict was over. However, many Pied Noirs felt excluded in France and resented by native Algerians, so returning to Algeria was not an option. The term was originally derogatory. That's why they called them black feet. That's what the translation is. Pied, foot, noir, black. But Pied Noir eventually reclaimed it as a source of pride. They were born in Algeria, but they are Français. Let's get back to the article. And why am I going down this road? Why am I going down this road? All right, I'll give you one more. On a certain kibbutz that I was on before I came back to the United States, person that I worked with was born, he was a Pied Noir. No, he wasn't. Wait a minute. He was a Jew, born in France, served in the French army during that period going up to 1962. And he was sent by the French government as a French soldier to fight against the insurgents in Algeria. I've known someone who fought in the French army against the insurgency in Algeria prior to 1962. I worked with him in France, in Israel. Now, so Algeria was like a turmoil, and different subgroups of people Some decided to stay and some decided to leave and go to various places. Okay? For different reasons. Let's get back to the article. Now that actually fits in with what we're going to read in a background sort of way. Algeria, a reading event for a book titled Jewish Algeria, that's the English translation title, was canceled on Saturday. The organizers said after critics said it was untimely amid the war in Gaza. L'arbre à dire, tree to read. I'm translating it. Did I get that right? A bookshop in the capital Algiers. Did I get that? Did I translate? I had 3 years of high school French. It's all the articles are in French. All the articles are in French. So if I do a Google, I did libraire, l'arbre à dire, Algiers, Facebook. There it is. Google's everywhere. Now what I'll do is I'll say translation to English. The French, the word, it's tree and shaft. So I got it wrong. Oh, wait a minute, this is beautiful. See, all they're doing, all the AI is, see, I like doing this. This is another fiasco on the part of the Google search engine. Look at what they're doing. I'm asking, what is the translation? And they're not giving it to me. The large language models do pattern matching, and they're idiots. They're not humans. So what I'll do is I'll do this. Copy. And then I'll go over here, and I'll go here, and I'll go to translate, and I'll put this in. And it's a tree to say. Oh, speak. I'm sorry. I said to read. A tree to speak. It's been a long time since I took my high school French. I'm ashamed of myself. Je dire. I'm ashamed of myself. So let's get back to the article. So this bookshop in Algiers with art was set to hold the event discussing Algeria's Jewish heritage. Now remember that we looked up the name of that Tlemcen synagogue that was created, built, started in the 14th century. So Jews have been in North Africa for a long time. Probably since Roman times. Yeah, there were more Jews living outside of Israel at the fall of Jerusalem under the Roman siege than living in what we would today call Israel. Way more. So that bookshop in the capital Algiers was set to hold the event discussing Algeria's Jewish heritage, said it had to call it off without providing further details. Its cancellation came after this guy made a ruckus. There are no official statements from the Algerian authorities. The bookstore said the book was no longer available in its collection. All right. An earlier book reading on Thursday in this place, some 60 miles east of Algiers, was also called off at a bookstore called this. And it apparently said, oh, it implies that it has a Facebook page too. Why didn't they list that first? Why was it? Now, how far back do you think that photo of the book? Now, why are they doing that? They want to show. They show you that it's been around for a long time. And it says Bazaar, and you notice something about it? Do you notice something about this? You probably wouldn't notice it right away. Oh, it's April 1936. Do you see any Arabic there? Or do you see only French? Do you think it's possible that the bookshops we're talking about are primarily for French-speaking people? This is in French. This is in French. I don't see any Arabic. Some photos of the encounter literary with the author, and it names, okay, so this was another example of the author came and was probably signing books and talked about something that they wrote. Let's just take out one of the pictures. There it is. Okay, this could be in somewhere here in North Carolina, if you didn't know. All right. So this is in another part of Algeria, but not Algiers. Now, I don't know why they're showing, this is the author of the book, Hadi Ben Salih. And it's taken from a YouTube video. That's what they're saying, because they have to, in Israel, they have to say what right they had to publish this picture. In an interview with the Algerian newspaper Le Soir, is there a Paris newspaper called Le Soir? I'll bet there is. In an interview with the Algerian newspaper Le Soir last February, the book's author, Edia, you wouldn't pronounce the H, Edia, correct me if I make any mistakes with my pig French. When I was in France and I would try to speak French to a French person, they would go, quoi, and walk away. But my high school French, as I remembered it, was good enough to talk to the Arabs in places like Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia to get directions and get help, because their French was as bad as mine. I didn't know any Arabic. They didn't know any English. The book's author, Edia Ben Salih, said Jewish Algeria was a book about Algeria and not what's happening in other parts of the world. She said the book, spanning a history of over 2,000 years. Now, I didn't read this far down before I decided to make the video. How long did I say Jews were most likely have been in Algeria, North Africa? At least back to Roman times. Yeah, that's nothing new. She said the book, spanning a history of over 2,000 years, had already been on sale at the time of Hamas's invasion of da-da-da-da. Like everyone else, I had not foreseen the. Now, what's this picture? An undated photo from Yad Vashem, that's an archive in Jerusalem, celebrating Passover. Can you see the picture? Now, they probably put this together pretty quickly, and who knows who was doing it. Oh, here it is. In an undated photo with the Yad Vashem archives, Algerian Jews are shown celebrating Passover. Now, if we were to look at the hairstyles, this photo may have been the parents of the ladies I worked with in Western Galilee, in the citrus grove. I'm trying to guess at how far back. I think this photo is probably from the 1930s. I don't think it's later than after the Second World War, because starting at the foundation of the Algerian Jews were under a lot of pressure. Major Moroccan and Algeria cities had Jewish quarters. There would be a section of the city, if you asked for it, where's the Jewish quarter, they would show you where to go. It was often adjacent to the marketplace. Jews lived in Algeria for thousands of years, I haven't read this before, and was home to over 100,000 Jews as late as 1940, but the vast majority of them left after the establishment of the State of Israel. I knew two of them and worked with them. In 1948 and during the country's bloody war of independence against France in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Pied Noirs. The number of Jews living currently in Algeria is not known, but according to the Jeune Afrique, Young Africa magazine, that magazine's been around for 50 years. I remember it that far back. But historians estimate the country's Jewish population is made up of a handful of people who practice their faith in secret for fear of being targeted by extremists. And do you remember that last week I published a video asking if Christopher Columbus was a Marrano? What was a Marrano? 1492, Edict of Expulsion. You either stop being a Jew, stop being a Muslim, become a Catholic, or get out, or we'll kill you. So some said, I'm a Catholic now, but they really were Jews under the table. This is Algeria now, but historians estimate the country's Jewish population is made up of a handful of people who practice their faith in secret for fear of being targeted by extremists. They're Marranos, if I can apply French, old. Marrano in Spanish means pig, swine. Obviously the Jews didn't choose that as the word to call those kind. All right? Now, what I did do is I said, does Google know her? And this is what I got. Now, over here on the right side, it says she's an Algerian writer. And the lead is Barron's, which is a financial, is it still a financial thing? Goodreads, they've just gone AI, right? Now, the article is written for us in English, but is the title of the book in English? L'Algérie Juive, the Algerian Jew. That's how I translate it. The Algerian Jew. So if I just do this, I haven't done this before. Let's see if Amazon has it in France. I'm guessing There's Le Figaro. France, these are in French. I haven't done this search before. There's Amazon. Why did they do that? Okay, so this is a picture of the cover of the book. Now, it has, I don't remember the name of this, but I've seen them in Israel and other places. So can I open this? So that's the book. What's that called? Now this is all in French. And where is this Amazon? Amazon.fr. This is from France, Amazon. Yeah, they're over there too. Oh, this is about the cookies. Oh, this is about the cookies. Oh, that's what that is. There's a European EU law about that. Now, can I get this? I can't, they said send it to your device. It looks like you could buy it right there. It's 310 pages. The Jewish presence in Algeria following was minimized like, my French is terrible. I keep wanting to get that so I can, and it's about 21 euros, so it's about $20. It was published It looks like it hasn't been published yet. Is that what it is? Let's see if we can find the date. 2023. I'm wrong. It was published on the 21st of September 2023. Let's see. This person wrote the preface. Let's see how many books she has. I'm going to translate this as The Outcast. Now, you'll pardon me for doing stuff like this. The Dying Man. Close, The Dying Man. I'm just having fun, folks. I lost my time. All right? So the book is intended for those who still speak and read French in Algeria, right? And for people in metropolitan France. Why do I say metropolitan France? Because there are, even in the Caribbean, and two islands north of Maine and near Canada that are a part of overseas France, but not a part of metropolitan France, but they are the same as French territory. If you invaded those two fishing islands near Newfoundland, you would be invading France. So Goodreads knows about it. Times of Israel knows about it. Arab News knows about it. And there's the Wikipedia article about her, and it's in French. And like all the other ones, this article needs more citations and blah, blah, blah. Now, you'll pardon me for doing this, folks. She's from here. She was born in that city on the coast, How many people do you think live in 80% of Algeria? Almost zero. Why? She was born there just before Algerian independence. And she got a post-colonial education. I can't read it. I'm sorry. Let's see if they have anything. She's a feminist. She's a feminist. How can I tell? She writes about, remembers about women victims of phallocraty. Phallocraty. Social dominance by males. Phallus is penis. See, I still remember that much French. She won a prize from Mohammed Dib, whatever that is, in 2022, which celebrates somebody that died in 2023, an Algerian writer, probably somebody who was. I'm willing to wander around a little bit on this. So where's the place that she's from? Because when I looked at it, I thought it was interesting. Where does it say she was born? Here we go. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's find out what part of Algeria she's from. Now, where's my cursor? There's my cursor. Is there a way for me to make this a little smaller? Okay, all right, there we go. So it's in this, I'm going to call it province. There's Algiers, there's Oran, there's Tlemcen down here. So what kind of people do you think live here? What kind of people what do you think they would call themselves? Now you think this is really off the wall. Maybe 10 years ago, while I was fishing, and I was living in the Raleigh area, I met a young man and I could hear his accent. So I asked him where he was from, and he said Algeria. And I said, well, I've been to Algeria. I hitchhiked across Algeria. Oh, really? Could you help me out where you were from? And you've told me the name of the town, but can you tell me a larger city near there? He said, yeah, near Mascara. You know what mascara is, right? You know what mascara is. It's made from bugs. And there's mascara right there. And he was from approximately here. And now this will be closing it off. So I asked him, are you an Arab or are you a Berber? He said, Berber. And he did it like that, Berber. And this area, don't you dare call them Arabs. They're Berbers. They're Berbers, B-E-R-B-E-R. So that's my little journey from seeing this article and some of the things from my life. And Shazam, just a few hours ago, I got a comment from somebody in North Africa, in Egypt. What a coincidence. Just having fun, saying see you at 73.